Hello. Uh it's another video. I just wanted to show you these videos from the on January 8th and 9th. There were protests in Iran as part of the whole Iran war lead up, basically. Um Trump sort of encouraged them at the time, which I think is the right thing to do overall. But Iran blocked out the internet during these protests. We haven't had videos of them, very many, up until now. Yesterday, I started seeing a lot of videos posted on Twitter of the events that happened on January 8th and 9th. There was a few other interesting videos, a couple other interesting things that I want to read, but primarily I just want to show you these videos. Trying to keep it relatively short. We are probably going to watch the whole thing of all of them, but I think it's worth it. I don't speak Persian or Arabic or any of it. I only speak English. So I've translated this, but we are not going to be translating every piece of Persian text. I think this is Persian. But let's just get into it for now.
شهرک اکباتان 19 دی روز دوم فراخوان شاهزاده حمله 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 بادو بگیرش بادو چیاموز 19 دی وایسا نشود بابا وایسا با دست فرق میکنه حمله 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 ماشاءالله 19 دی شهرک اکباتان 19 دی شهرک اکباتان مگر خامنه ای
So these videos are kind of graphic. Not all of them. This one wasn't too bad. I figured I'd just let that one rip. They appear to have killed a lot of people. At the time, you know, as some fucking nameless nobody who just watches the news and goes, "Oh damn, dude," over and over again. I wasn't sure. You know, you hear that Iran, had killed protesters, and I go, that makes sense in my head. I don't know it to be true for sure. I wasn't there, obviously. I'm on the other side of the globe. And I sort of like withhold making a really strong judgment about it until I can know for sure, right? And this isn't a video of people being shot. This is just a video of people marching. And there's videos from the United States that look relatively like this, specifically from 2020 and 2021, Black Lives Matter protests and all that. Riots. And I don't speak Persian, and I'm not Iranian, and I don't know what these people are saying, and I don't know whether these this is a large number of protesters. I don't know whether these crowds of people are, you know, are these radical communist protests, like we have in the United States, or are these actually um, liberal, relatively liberal Persian, Iranian, I don't know, anti-Islamist people? Very likely they're still Muslim. Oh my god, my fucking hair, dude. But there's a difference between a regular Muslim and a radical jihadi, right? Um, and I don't particularly like the regular Muslims either for their religious views, but they're certainly better than the radical jihadis. All right, that was the first one. This one, we're gonna stop halfway through on this one because it does loop through twice. I don't know why exactly this is 2 minutes repeated, but this is just the size of the crowd. I don't know if that was the cut, but it's close enough. This one is pretty dark. This is dark literally and figuratively. It's hard to tell what's going on in the first half of this. The second half of this has a lot of body bags in it. So if you're sensitive about that. According to the tweet, this is from the green flashes are lasers from the Revolutionary Guard Corps rifles, I think.
Shut up!
Now, I don't know. Is that 40,000? It's a moving video for sure. I don't think those people were shooting guns into the fucking air. You know what I mean? You hear gunshots like that, those are at people. There's still body bags on the ground. Families weeping. I don't think that these are fake videos, I guess, is what I'm saying. And it's heartbreaking. I don't really know what else to say than that, I guess. I wonder if I can make this a little brighter. That's a little better. This section is very dark. Let's just keep going. These are people celebrating after the death of Khamenei, according to this. Whether it's true or not, I don't really know, I guess.
واقعا خیلی خوشحالیم که موسوی مرده.
These people don't seem upset about it. You know, I don't know whether these people are representative. You know what I mean? I, like everybody else, I hate having higher gas prices. I can't fucking afford gas. I think we've made some disastrous blunders in the way that the war has been conducted. I don't like have any fucking recommendations for what I would have done differently. You know what I mean? It's extremely easy to sit after the fact and go, I think we've made some disastrous blunders. I will admit that. The situation is not good. And I think it would have been, would have been happier with it had the president dropped some bombs on them and then got us the fuck out of there. Fucked off, you know? We have invested too much into the Middle East. But I'm not the president. I'm some fucking nobody, right? And President Trump, he's got people there who think he's a fucking hero for waging war against Iran, for killing Khamenei. And if the way these people react, why not? This one, oh, we did do that one, didn't we? We saw that one. The number of people that they've killed is, if it's actually 40,000, right? The United States, let's 10 9/11s, right? More than 10 9/11s. It's definitely committed by their own government instead of in stupid little conspiracy theories. And Yeah, it's a horrifying prospect. It's we have all these protests in the U.S. and leftists will say that President Trump is a want to be fascist dictator, um, but it's not. In reality, the police and the army, the U.S. military, treat every single conflict they're in with kid gloves. ICE could be gunning down all of the people who are protesting ICE right now. You know what I mean? They're lined up in fucking crowds directly in front of ICE's fucking doors, blocking them from getting in and out. And I think in a different world, it would not be surprising at all to see gunmen firing into that crowd. You know what I mean? It would have happened if it was in Iran, based on this. Um, and it's horrible. And I, in my head, previously was supportive of the people of Iran, the people of Iran who desire sort of Western liberal ideas of freedom, or not even Western. They just don't want to live under an Islamist regime, right? But seeing these videos, we should have been doing more. I'm sure that Trump had some idea about these videos, right? And it probably factored into his decision to launch his war. But we should have done something this night. Could we have done something on January 8th and 9th for these people? Probably not, I guess, right? But we've become I don't know. Maybe it's not our business. But man. All right. Let's see. There's multiple videos of these people chanting for Reza Pahlavi as well. And I thought the way that I've heard it reported in the US mainly makes it sound like Pahlavi is nothing to these people. You know what I mean? He's the son of the previous dictator. And I listened to a really interesting The Rest is History podcast about the fall of Iran a couple of months ago. And it was really interesting. And it sort of humanized Carter and the Shah of Iran. And I wasn't alive in 1975. And so it was like really interesting. And since I've seen these videos yesterday and this morning, people chanting his name, um, like big ass crowds of people. I believe that this video is also from January 8th and 9th. Um, I watched him speak a little bit. He seems like he knows what he's fucking talking about. He seems like he cares about his people. And I went from thinking he was some, you know, foreign exiled prince, probably a piece of shit, to he looks like a normal dude, basically. I'm sure he's living in extreme wealth or whatever, but um, he can't possibly be worse. You know what I mean? Even if he turns out to be a brutal totalitarian dictator, what are they already living in? Put the new guy in. Put the new guy in charge. See how he does. If he turns out to reintroduce Savak, the fucking secret police, and he starts abducting people and killing them like his father supposedly did, you know, that's a problem for tomorrow. The Islamist revolutionaries are a problem in every civilized country in the world. And if Trump does nothing good with the rest of his presidency aside from fucking up the Iranian dictatorship religious regime, maybe that's worth it. I would love to see him release the Epstein files, but if he saved the people of Iran, we should love him for it, right? We have all sorts of problems in the world, and this is what can Trump do in the Middle East except drop bombs, you know? And fucking he's trying, I guess. It's so hard to talk about because frankly he's fucking so many other things up, right? But I think the war in Iran, for all of that it's costing us, is worth it, and we should support these people more. I don't know how many of them are left. Unfortunately, you kill 40,000 of a particular group, and it's the 40,000 that are willing to get out into the streets. I don't know how many of those people are left, and how many of the people who remain are going to be willing to put themselves at risk like that. But the last thing I saved regarding this was this tweet from Newt Gingrich. He posted at 4 in the fucking morning this morning. Let's see. Let's just zoom it in a little more. After spending this week reviewing the Iranian war, I am now convinced President Trump is on the edge of an historic victory. He could have put a fucking paragraph break in here. The real breakthrough for me came as I reviewed President Trump's decisions and maneuvers not from the standpoint of American unilateralism, but from the standpoint of the leader of a remarkable, historic coalition, the largest coalition ever put together in the modern Middle East. I don't know whether this is true. I haven't been following it long enough. I read news. I'm not a Middle East policy expert or anything. I can't name the heads of states of any of these countries. Mohammed bin Salman, I got that one. I don't know Khomeini's son's name, if he's still alive. But it's clear that Iran has enemies on every side. It doesn't make any sense for Iran once Trump invades the Strait of Hormuz and starts trying to fuck with them. It doesn't make any sense for Iran to launch missiles at the UAE and Qatar and everybody around them if they don't think they are their enemies, right? Those are Trump's allies. Trump doesn't need the approval of the people who have traditionally been our allies in Europe because they're weak and they're distracted by the Ukraine war, which is a separate problem that we should also probably be doing more about. But the UK and France and Germany cannot help us. They've become soft and stupid. Um, and if what that means is that we need to drop them and get new allies, at least for certain things, this is Trump, you know, protecting U.S. interests in the Middle East and helping a ring of people around this country controlled by insane Islamists. Um, where was I? Shit. What is little discussed? Sorry, hold on. Everyone understands that Israel is an important ally. What is little discussed is the depth of support from the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and other countries in the region. It has to be sobering for the Iranian dictatorship to realize that it does not have a single ally willing to challenge the American naval blockade. Slowly, gradually, timidly, our European allies are lining up to help with the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. A great deal of President Trump's maneuvers against Iran makes sense once he is seen as a coalition leader and not just as a unilateral American president. I spent a lot of the last couple of weeks reviewing kinetic options, including winning the Battle of the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, and if necessary, using the shocking and shattering level of force President Nixon and Secretary Kissinger used against Hanoi and Haiphong in Christmas 1972, which both leaders believed convinced the North Vietnamese to agree to a truce and the freeing of American POWs. If this were a unilateral American campaign, I would enthusiastically support a more aggressive kinetic campaign. However, it is also clear it would shatter the coalition because our Arab allies are convinced Iran could still do enormous damage to their oil fields and infrastructure. Coalitions are inherently slower than unilateral campaigns. However, coalitions ultimately bring vastly more power to the fight. I am as frustrated as everyone else by the pace of talking with the dictatorship, but having reviewed the correlation of forces and the options available to the coalition on one side and the Iranian religiously motivated dictatorship on the other, I am prepared to assert that President Trump's coalition leadership, something almost none of his critics want to acknowledge, is within reach of an enormous historic victory. And if the Iranian dictatorship ultimately proves it is hopelessly committed to a suicidal position, there will be plenty of time for a kinetic campaign of enormous power and effectiveness. Either way, we are on the edge of an astonishing victory for our values and for a safer Middle East. And I like this tweet. I don't know how right it is about anything, truthfully. Newt Gingrich, has been around a long time, and he said some stupid fucking things. But I think this is a good one. I think this is cooking. There's a lot to criticize about the war with Iran, but I think defeating the Iranian Islamist regime would be worth it. Simply. The fact that he's got support from the Iranian people and from other Middle Eastern countries. He still has the support of Israel, which its own all sorts of other fucking problems with that, but it's something, right? It's not. This isn't Trump at war with everyone in the Middle East. It's Trump at war with evil Islamists. And frankly, we should be at war with them everywhere in the world, and we should be killing them where we can. I guess that's the end of the video. If Trump does nothing else but somehow squeeze a fucking win out of this miserable situation, it would be amazing. I would love to see Iran safe so that all of the Iranian people in the United States could return there. You know? How much easier would it be to convince people to deport all the foreigners in our country if every place in the world was safe and prosperous and led by good people and not jihadis? All right, that's all. Um, Goodbye. Thank you for watching if you did. This video also a bit longer than I wanted to. I don't know where I can how many fucking little short videos I should be using per video, but I'm going to try and like work my way down towards 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I want to keep it between there. Um we should be doing more to help them. I don't know that we have the resources or the political willpower or anything. I don't know if we can. I think we become fucking weak and corrupt and stupid as well. Just like the Europeans, but it's a shame. Goodbye.